Hi all, this is Skate, and I'm going to start this video with a little bit of a boring story. So 4 years ago I found World of Tanks Blitz, and I really liked it. It was obviously an idea which had been transferred across from different platforms, and it was something which was very big. So I was well on board with the idea, and once a month they'd bring out these shiny new things. They called them premium tanks. They were shiny and new, and everybody wanted one, and all the cool kids had one. And sometimes they were slightly overpowered, but they would have a price next to them. And you could choose. You could look at it and you'd say, yeah, I'm going to buy that for £20 or $20. Or I'm going to buy that for 50 even. For me, it's a pixelated little tank. But it's my money. It's not harming anyone. Who cares if somebody else in said game calls me a gold noob because I bought myself premium tanks? It's my money. I have looked at something in a store and saw it for 40 something pounds, or maybe more even, or maybe less, and decided I want that, and for me, with my money, it is worth that amount. So I am going to purchase it. And this kind of turned into a monthly thing. It ended up being quite a hobby as well, so spending a little bit of money on a hobby, it's not a bad thing, is it? I have several hobbies, of which working on my cars is one of them. Happy to spend money on that, so why can't I spend money on some pixelated tanks? Again, my money, I enjoy doing it, so why the hell not? But the key thing was there's a price next to it, and I was happy to pay said price, because I would look at it and say, to me, I am happy to pay that amount for that machine. And many people I knew did the same thing. And this went on for about 3 years, every month nearly, and if there wasn't a new tank that month, I'd probably buy myself a small bundle because it contained premium time. Time progressed though, and things got on. They started giving premium time as certificates, basically. And so I've collected so many over time that I have well in excess of several months worth of premium time. In fact, at one point, I had 6 months worth of premium time, so I stopped buying premium time. And then something very unexpected happened. Tanks stopped arriving in store on a regular basis. And they started arriving in these funny little boxes we called crates, with a very low chance of getting them. But instead of getting something of value if you didn't get said tank, you'll get something called boosters or credits. Nobody wants them. So, this is starting to sound more like a story corner than an actual video playing tanks. But yeah, these crates, and not even just the crates, things like, or events with this sort of thing, namely the last Winter Fair. Now the last Blitz Fair, not Winter Fair, but the last one I, as you guys know, recorded, and I took quite a dip financially trying to get hold of that Chieftain T95, and I didn't get it. And truth be told, I haven't spent any money on Blitz since then. I'm not risking putting money on something once I've been stung once. And I still enjoy this game, and if a tank came into the store and it was there for say 40 or 50 pounds, or hell, even if it was something really rare, high tier, and just mwah, I'd even go above that. I would even be inclined to spend 70. But spending something like £50 and having a 4% chance per crate of getting it, nah, that's not for me. Because I could walk away with 60,000 credits instead. And that just leaves a bitter taste in the mouth. And that is what happened at Winter or Blitz Fair. Why do I keep calling it Winter Fair? Probably because it was in the winter. I'm pretty sure it was called Blitz Fair. But that's what happened, and the end result is, well, once you've been stung once, you don't get stung twice. If you do, you're pretty damn stupid. That's a fact. Someone says, stick your hand in a bear's mouth, it's safe, you do it. If you get bitten, and then someone says, put your hand in the bear's mouth, it's safe, and you got to do it again, well, more fool you. But no, seriously, I would be happy to buy a tank in the store. I would not be happy to risk gambling for a tank. So, in terms of the AMX 1ER, the prototype, the Premiere, would I buy it? God, yes, I really like this tank. But here's the thing, Do I think it's worth £10? Yes. Do I think it's worth 20? Yes. Would I spend £60 trying to pick one of these things up? I probably would. That's my choice, though. Someone else could look at it and say, well, no, that's not worth that. That's a rip-off. That's a joke. Anyone who buys it is a gold noob. Fine. At least you have a value, you have the tank next to it, and you have the choice. If you said to me, is this tank worth an undisclosed figure, I would say no. You also have to ask yourself, what is an undisclosed figure? If you went to buy a car, and someone said, do you want this car? It's great, yes please, how much is it? Well, I can't tell you, but if you keep putting money in, I'll tell you when is good enough so you can take the car. You would literally go, yeah, no, I'm good, thanks. And that is exactly the same approach I take to this. Is it worth X amount? To me, I would say it is worth X amount. If I saw a value on it, even if it was a little bit higher than what I wanted to pay, at least I have the choice of paying that outlay and being done with it. But if someone said, yeah, just keep putting the money in and I'll tell you when you can get it, I would not buy it. Now, that being said, if you said to me, but Skates, in this box is the tank you really, really want, but as well as in that box, there's some other stuff which you want, just maybe not as much as the tank, but it's worth the same value as what you spent on the box, I might be inclined to at least try then. Because I'd walk away from it going, maybe I didn't get the tank I wanted, but I got the gold value of the £5 per box I spent, or I got the premium time of the amount I spent. They don't leave a bad taste in the mouth. Walking away with the amount of credits you could accrue in one game in a tier 8 premium tank, so pretty much 3 minutes worth. No, thank you. And this to me is the biggest problem with those crates. I just want to buy the tanks. And I haven't spent any money this year because there's nothing in the store. It's strange. Because for the last, 3 years, I'd quite happily admit that I'm probably what the gaming industry refers to as a damn whale. And from that perspective, I probably was. And I probably would be still if there's new tanks arriving in the store on a regular basis, but there's not. Instead, there's the chances of getting them, and if you don't get the tank, you get something really, really poo instead, i.e. boosters. It's worth X amount to me, and that's the way I look at it. Something's got a price, you buy it for some price. I've already explained with the car. So, for me, I won't be getting one of these. I have the luxury of being able to play it in the contributor account to test it and make a video just to share it with you guys. But aside from this, I will not be playing this tank again unless I manage to get it in my actual account, which I won't, because I won't dip money for crates. And I know what some of you are thinking, yeah, but you got a contributor account, it doesn't matter. It's not my account, it's an account of Wargaming. They could kick me from the contributor program tomorrow, I could leave, I don't know, it's not my account, it's theirs. They could ban my other account, granted, but it's highly unlikely because I haven't done anything against the rules. So all that being said, I don't play my contributor account much. In fact, I have less than 200 battles in it, and I've had that contributor account for over 3 years. So yeah, won't be playing this tank really, other than these games which you are witnessing and viewing right now. Also, it kind of makes me sad that such a wonderful tank isn't in the tech tree, because I was kind of hoping for a French medium tank line. And of course, we have the AMX 30B at tier 10 to follow. Where's it going now? Nobody knows. But yeah, bit disappointed by that, and I'm also disappointed by the fact that I think this is an absolutely lovely little tank, and I really want one, and I'm not going to have one. Or here's another perspective for you. At the time of making this video, I have 18,800 legendary subscribers, and you are all legends because I really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. But there's 18,800 of you. If every single one of you bought one crate each, and that is every single one of you, which is highly unlikely to begin with, but let's just say every single one of you bought one crate each, only 752 of you would walk away with the tank, statistically anyway, because obviously there's a 4% chance. Me no likey those sorts of odds. Like, appreciate the offer, but no thank you. If you said to me, you can have this, but it's going to cost you. I'm like, well, how much? At least you can choose. I may sound like I'm being a little bit salty about it now. I could choose to go spend £50 trying to get this tank. But the fact that I know there's only a 4% chance, no thanks. But in the time I've played this tank, for those who are interested and who are trying to decide, is it worth X amount being a completely undisclosed figure, just keep putting money into the pot until the tank magically appears. But I've really enjoyed playing this. And I do mean a lot. It's a fantastic little tank, and it makes credits in a very, very surprising way. The last game we played on this recording, 52,000 credits. The game I am playing now, you're going to be looking something like 47,000 credits, and the next game you're looking 86,000 credits. All things considered, this is only meant to be enriched on a premium tank. If you ask me, that is not comparable to the other tier 9, the Kampfpanzer 70, which makes nowhere near as many credits as this thing. And a lot of people have said it's a bad tank, but obviously they're basing that purely on the statistics which they've read, and I get that. When you look at the statistics, you look at something on paper, you do make an assumption. I've done it on numerous tanks. In terms of this thing, though, it's good. I mean, surprisingly good. And its turret is ridiculously bouncy. In the games I have played with this, I have 2 steel walls. And that's for a tank which apparently is just a bad PTA, I'm told. A lot of people told me, it's just a bad Leo PTA skate. It's like, no, it's really, really not. I mean, this thing's got 10 degrees of gun depression. Its turret is not epic, but it is really troll. And you're going to get a lot of bounces when using that gun depression of equal and even higher tier medium tanks. Sadly, doesn't have the 105, which a lot of us are expecting this thing to come along with. It has a 100mm, which does 310 alpha per shot, as most other 100mm we know and love. But its penetration is not shocking, but it's below average. The gun on this AMX 30 prototype packs 232mm of penetration, which is the same as the Batchat, and it doesn't feel like a big pitfall or a horrible part of this tank. It's below average, and if you did compare it to a Leo PTA has a very healthy 255. Very healthy. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, this thing has the mobility, just like a PTA, just like a Batchat, to get around where it wants to go. I just got a comment in this last game. Check out the 2 tank destroyers sitting behind me on the ridge. Credit to those guys, because I'm trying to bait these 2 out into their fire. And it kind of works. So wait until you see the assistance and spotting damage I get in this game by baiting something like this. By just sitting on the ridge and looking like I am alone. Look at the damage that Centurion has received. And he is just target number 1. But yeah, this isn't really much of a review. In fact, I've spent most of this moaning a little bit about crates, and the straight answer is if you don't like crates, don't buy them. And that is the answer. I won't be buying them because I don't like them. But I also wanted to air the fact that as a person who really enjoys this game and is quite happy to spend money on the game, there's no new tanks arriving in store which I can spend money on. And I'd like to. If a tank arrived in store which is all shiny and new, I'd probably pick it up. So yeah, this isn't really a proper review, it's more of a rant, isn't it? And I would have liked to make a proper review on it, and I probably will at some point. But as it stands, very minimal amounts of people are going to have access to this tank. But, again, that being said, I have no doubt in my mind that at some point in the future, this tank is going to be available again and probably more accessible. If you want proof of that theory, Chieftain T95 at Winter, Blitz Fair, damn it, why do I keep calling it Winter Fair? Blitz Fair, and Chieftain T95 in existing event. So yeah, probabilities, we're going to get access to this again at some point in the future. That's my speculation, my guess. Anyway, yeah, the straight answer is it is a really, really nice little tank. It's just a shame so few people are going to get it. And in terms of playstyle, I'd describe it in a similar way to the STB1. Of obviously just a tier 9 instead of a tier 10, and there are other differences. The turret is probably just as reliable as something like an STB's turret. If you know where to shoot at on an STB, you'll penetrate the turret every time, pretty much. If you know where to shoot at one of these, you'll probably penetrate the turret by shooting under the gun. Everything above, when using gun depression, is surprisingly troll. So yeah, I'm not saying it's an STB at tier 9, but the playstyle is very, very similar. Obviously, guns completely different, and there's many other things. But this thing, it goes 60 kilometers per hour as well, and it's no slouch in terms of trying to get there. Its camo from the games I've played also seems, well, we'll put it subtly as saying very, very good. The sad fact is I do want this tank as well. I mean, look at that one, 86,000 credits. Granted, it's not just the 3,400 damage we did there. There is some assistance or spotting damage in this one based on the medal. If we take a flick over to the next screen, I'm going to give those two TDs who were on the back line a thumbs up because they did great spotting, or great shooting at the targets I spotted. So I did 3,430 damage, and we have 3,417 assistance damage as well. So yeah, it was a fun game. That's not down to this tank specifically. You could do that in any medium tank, that sort of spotting damage. But I've really enjoyed playing this tank, and I wish I could play it some more on my own actual account. But I can't, and I won't. And I'm sorry this isn't really a review for anyone who was looking for a review. Like I said, I will probably do one in the future. I just can't help but feel slightly disappointed or frustrated when it comes to trying to do a review on this thing because, well, the vast majority of the player base is not going to get it. And sadly, that won't be down to lack of trying for a lot of people. And for me, as a big supporter of this game, I find that disappointing because I'm someone who actually wants to spend money on the game. But there's nothing new in the stores that's saying, hey, look at this new shiny one, come and get it. And I'm like, okay, here's my money. At least I know what I'm paying for in advance. And more importantly, I know I'm getting it because I paid for it. Not paying for a 4% chance at it. Man, this video turned into a proper moan. I never expected it to go that way. So I'm probably going to sign this video out now before it goes even worse. I promise the next video will be uber happy and fun. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.